guys, today I'm filming my book review slash discussion on Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. In case you do not know, Lady Midnight is the first book in Cassandra Clare's new series called The Dark Artifices, and this book takes place, I think, 5 years after the Mortal Instrument series, which is right there. I have not read the Mortal Instrument series. I know people will probably get mad at me about that. I did get spoiled on a couple things, but I don't really mind. I did read The Infernal Devices right there, and oh my gosh. It's so good, guys. Like, The Infernal Devices is just one of my new favorite series I've ever read of all time. Just like, it's incredible, and if you have not read it, just please read it. So yeah, I received an arc of this book to read and review from the publisher, Simon & Schuster, so thank you so much for sending this to me, and it's beautiful. I mean, I haven't got my hardcover yet, but the arc is beautiful, guys. Like, look at it. So in case you do not know what this book is about, I will be giving you a short synopsis, but I will also be linking the Goodreads link down below because I'm so bad at summarizing books, and this will probably make it sound terrible. So here's my effort and attempt at summarizing Lady Midnight. This book is about a 17-year-old girl named Emma Carstairs who is a shadow hunter. So Emma's parents were murdered a while back, and so she's living at the LA Institute with this family called, what is this accent coming out? What? No, go away, go away. So she's living at the Institute in LA with this family called the Blackthorns and her new best friend who is Christina. There's this whole thing. The Blackthorns are really amazing. It's really hard to summarize. Just read the synopsis. Basically, it's sort of like a forbidden love story, but it's like way more than that because it's also like a mystery. It's sort of like Sherlock Holmesy, and I loved that aspect of it because I love mysteries. Basically, though, she has a parabatai, and a parabatai is a person that you decide to be parabatai with. You can be parabatai with anyone before you turn 18 years old, and then basically you two are stuck together for the rest of your life. It's not marriage. Basically, you just are sworn to protect each other as best you can and be like this, like you're basically like one person. So for example, someone's pointing a gun at your parabatai, you have to like jump in front of them. Like, it's your obligation as their parabatai to protect them as best you can. Parabatai are not allowed to fall in love, and Emma's parabatai is a guy named Julian Blackthorn, and they sort of fall in love, and it's really a beautiful forbidden love story, and it's really heartbreaking because you just want them to be together and they're not allowed to be, and you find out what might happen if they do end up together even though they're parabatai. So it's just like this whole big thing, and there's so many great characters in this book. When I first started this book, I wasn't loving it. Like, I enjoyed it, it was kind of interesting, but once we met the Blackthorn family, I just fell in love with their family and the LA Institute. I just love it so much, and like, Emma's so cool. And the more characters are introduced, it just gets better and better, and it's just so good. Like, this book is just amazing. I didn't love it as much as The Infernal Devices. Like, I don't think I ever can love any other books by Cassie Clare as much as I loved The Infernal Devices, honestly. But this one was still just so good. Like, I'm just so glad I love this author's books because I was scared everyone would love them and I'd finally read one and just be like, this is awful. Like, I hate her writing style, but no, it's so good. It's so good, guys. Like, there's a reason people rave about her books. Like, the writing style is just so beautiful, and the way she plots out just everything that's gonna happen, like, in a whole series. I mean, it's just, it's incredible. Like, she's just such a talented author, plus she created Will Herondale, so that's a plus. I ended up giving it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I took off like a 0.5 star just because, I don't know, there were some things that bothered me, some things that I didn't agree with that were in this book, and I don't know, I didn't feel like I should give it like 5 full stars just because there were some things that bothered me. So this book took me 2 full weeks exactly to read. It was 14 days, which is forever for me to read a book. Like, I usually read a book, like a book or 2 a week. This book is 670 pages, so it wasn't like super surprising, but at the same time, like, 2 weeks is a long time to read one book. For me anyways. But really, I wouldn't have had it any other way because it's just like my reading experience with Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. I read it over quite a long period of time, like maybe 2 weeks, and I just enjoyed it so much. Like, I had a well balance of like not reading and reading. I just feel like my reading experience while reading this book was just so perfect. Like, 2 weeks was just the perfect time to not, like, if I'd read it super fast, it would have just, I don't think I would have liked it as much. Like, having 2 weeks to just spend with these characters and uncover this mystery was just amazing. Like, I loved it so much, just taking my time with it. Because if you read it in like 2 days, which is crazy, how can you read a 700-page book in 2 days? Then I think you may not enjoy it as much. And maybe that's just me personally. I loved my reading experience while reading this book, but I mean, some people who read it in 2 days may have also like loved it even more. So, I mean, you never know. Our main character, Emma Carstairs, was just so awesome. Like, she's so cool and like sarcastic and hilarious, and just, she was such an awesome character. One of my favorites, but my favorite character, I don't know, like, I really love Tavi, but it may be Julian, just because Julian reminded me, like Sasha said in her review, he's like a mix between Will and Jim from the Infernal Devices, and I love Will and Jim, like, beyond words can describe. So I kind of love Julian a lot. He's probably my favorite character. I really love, like, Ty and Tavi, and like, I just loved all the siblings. Like, they were all so cool and like wanting to be all tough and like fighting the battles, but they're too young. And Julian and Emma, just like ship. Yes. I don't care if they're 17 and it's illegal because they're parabatai. Like, just get married, okay? And this book did feel slightly slower paced, but not like in a bad way. It just always felt like the perfect pacing. I don't know. It was like slow, but then like fast at times, but then like, I thought it was perfect though. It was slowish, but I loved it. Like, same with Glass Sword. It's just like the same experience, you know? Also, to answer a question that everyone has been asking me, do you have to read The Mortal Instruments and The Infernal Devices before you read The Lady Midnight? And the answer is, I don't think you have to. As long as you don't mind minor spoilers for both series and how they end, you can go ahead and read this book. It was written so that you can read it, even if it's your first book by Cassandra Clare. Like, it explains the Shadowhunters and everything. There were slight spoilers for both series. I think the spoilers were bigger for the Infernal Devices of what happened, because we see a couple characters from that series, which was amazing. But, like, if you don't mind, feel free and pick it up. Like, it's not a big deal. And I definitely highly recommend reading The Infernal Devices, by the way. I was thinking, like, how am I gonna survive until book 2? Like, I already miss these characters so much after spending 2 full weeks with them. Just, like, it was so awesome, and now I miss them so much. But I still have the entire Mortal Instruments series to read, which is crazy, because there are, like, 6 or 7 books in that series. So I'm really excited. I already have the first 3, so I'm probably gonna jump into those this summer. And hopefully if I finish the whole series this year, well, unless I don't like it. I mean, I might not like it, but I probably will. Also, can we talk about The Last Hours, which is the sequel trilogy to The Infernal Devices? Oh my gosh, like, I didn't even know it existed until I was reading Clockwork Prince, and I died. I was like, ah, yes! I'm, like, crazy excited for that series, because I love The Infernal Devices so much. Okay, so I don't want to spoil you if you have not read this book, so please just leave if you haven't, because I'm going to be getting into discussing, like, the plot and what happened and the plot twist and everything. So if you don't want to be spoiled, and you shouldn't, or if you haven't read the book, basically, then you need to get out of this video. Like, click the little X, because you're going to be spoiled like crazy. So, bye! Okay, so you better have read the book if you're still here. Okay, first I'm just going to talk about the plot twist at the end of who the murderer is. And if you're still haven't read the book, like, what the heck? Leave. The murderer in this book was Malcolm, which sort of blew my mind, but not really, because part of me suspected it. It ran through my mind, but then I kind of dismissed it, like, earlier on in the book, because I was like, who do I trust? I can't trust anybody. Like, I didn't even trust Julian. I was like, I can't trust anyone. So, especially Malcolm, I was like, no, I don't trust him. The whole book, Cassie was setting us up to think it was Diana, and it worked, because I thought it was her, like, the whole book. She shows up at the place, and I'm like, I was right! I was right! And it turns out she was just there to help them, and it's actually Malcolm, and he was gonna kill Tavi? No! Like, how heartless can you be? That little boy! Oh my gosh, he's so cute! Seriously though, like, Malcolm, I liked you so much, and I guess I should have known it was too good to be true. Like, he was so great and funny, but of course, he had to be evil and trying to resurrect his dead love from the grave. The ending, like I said, when we saw Will and not Will, oh my gosh, that would have been nice. Like I said before, the ending when we saw Jem and Tessa was just so heartwarming, and when they helped go fight for Kit, it was just so awesome. And we find out that Kit is a Herondale. I really like his character. I'm excited to get to know him better in the next book, and I'm excited to, like, see his relationship with all the siblings, like, because they're, like, all around the same age, so, like, I feel like they'll get along really well and just take him in as one of their own. But when we find out what will happen if 2 Parabatai fall madly in love. All the things that will happen, just, I don't want that to happen, but at the same time, I want Julian and Emma to be together. So I'm like, what do we think? The ending, like, you need to talk to Julian, you need to talk about what will happen, and just sort it all out. Like, just don't do it this way, because her whole thing with Mark, how she's gonna like, Mark owed her a favor, and so she's like, asking him to pretend that he's in love with her and that they're in love so that it'll hurt Julian, and Julian will, because like Julian said that it would break him if Emma and Mark were together. And so of course Emma's like, hey Mark, pretend to be my boyfriend so that we can break Julian so that he doesn't love me. It's the dumbest thing. Like, why don't you just go talk to Julian? Like, at the end, like, Mark is like, why lie? And I'm like, no, go away, creep. My two main ships in this book were Emma and Julian and Christina and Mark. Like, Christina and Mark need to be together. Diego, yeah, I don't like him with Christina. I don't really trust him at all, honestly, just because I guess he broke Christina's heart, and that's just cruel. Like, us girls gotta stick together. I don't trust him at all. But the very, very last page, not the one with the whole Mark and Emma thing, the one about Annabelle Lee, like, what? She's awake? Like, what the heck? How did she wake up? There was no Blackthorn blood. I mean, I guess it'll get explained in the next book. Like, she's dead. That's so creepy. She's like a zombie. Annabelle, like, no, leave. You're a creep.
Like, I know she's a creep. Like, reading that last page, I'm like, she's creepy. She's like one of those, like, porcelain dolls that are just, like, creepy and all cracked and
One of my favorite parts was when they went to the Midnight Theater. And it was just really interesting, like, seeing the theater and all the different creatures there. It was just really cool. Plus, it was really cool because they find, like, the invitation to it in this dead lady's purse or a wallet or whatever. And it's on this page. It talks about what it says, like, on the invitation. And guys, look what came with my arc. Do you see that, like, right there? That is the invitation. I have one. It's so cool. But just like learning about Johnny Rook, my brain is just going all over the place like real fast, so just keep up. Johnny Rook was like so creepy. Like, just no. Like, no. Why would she keep going back to him? He's like telling all her secrets and everyone's secrets. He's just a jerk. And his son is a Harry-Nell. They're Harry-Nells. Also, learning the history about Uncle Arthur was really interesting, and how Julian is basically like the head of the institute in LA, even though he's not even old enough to be.
Because Uncle Arthur is just like, cuckoo, cuckoo.
I just thought that was really interesting. Like,
Julian is just so strong, and like he's gentle, but he's also fierce when he needs to be, and he like takes care of all these kids. He's like so mature and just like, oh my gosh, I love him so much. Like, Julian, be mine. I'd rather have Will, but like, you're a good second. Like, I'll take you.
I feel like this video is so long already, and I can't even think of anything else to talk about. So I feel like the spoiler section wasn't as fun as I'd wanted it to be. But, I mean, if you really want to hear people talk about it, go watch, like, Christine's video or, like, Sasha's spoiler video. I feel so bad saying that, but, like, I can't think of anything else that actually happened. I should have tabbed stuff, but I didn't. I loved it so much, that's all you need to know, and I'm sure you guys loved it too. If you've read it, like, you better have read it if you're still here. So if you have read it, please comment down below and tell me who your favorite character was. Tell me what your favorite scene was. I don't know what my favorite scene was. Like, I don't know, just, like, all of it. I really liked when they were like all in the restaurant and they had like, they were going through the dead lady's wallet. That sounds so wrong, but they were just like being teenagers in a restaurant, and it was so casual. And then Mark was like, hey ladies. And then they were like,
no, Mark, no, don't do that. They're Mondays.
So yeah, I don't really have a favorite part. I could sit here and think about it and I'd probably have one, but it would take hours because I love so many of them. Just tell me what your favorite part was, what your favorite character was, and how excited are you for the Lord of Shadows? I need it right now. I'm so excited, guys. The second book. I don't know when it comes out, but it better be soon, because like as long as I get like this in the last hour soon, I'll be okay. But like I need them like very, very soon. That is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment below and discuss this book with me, because I really, really want to, or comment on my Goodreads or wherever you want. Just like, I want to discuss this book with you guys so badly, because I just want to talk about it. Like, I could talk about this book all day. It's like, it's just so good. It's so good, guys. So good. Thank you all for watching, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye.